My name is Chef Linet Osara. I'm a pastry chef by profession. I started my career back in 2019. Actually, when I was in high school, my mom used to bake a lot at home. So obviously, hapa na pale, she used to ask for assistance, kuja nisaidie. So that is where I started building that's when we started baking together. And that's where I started building the interest. Yeah, so back in high school, ilikuwa tu kusaidia mama hapa na pale. So in between, nika notice, like I used to do a cake and my mom was like, hey, by the way, umedecorate vizuri. So ikaanza kunipea hiyo motisha ya kuendelea. So after high school, I decided to do it as a full-time course. I decided to take I did culinary arts. So I chose it as because I really love and enjoy baking. Yeah, so when I was in school, I was still hesitant. I didn't know kama nitasettle na hot kitchen ama na pastry, but I did both hot kitchen and pastry. So ndio nikaona, since pastry ndio my heart iko kwa pastry kabisa, so nikaamua let me just specialize na pastry peke yake. Then when I was in school, they chose me as we usually have this when you're about to graduate, we have the luncheon. So we have the luncheon, the students are the one who organize the event. So there has to be a head chef for the hot kitchen, and there has to be a head chef for the pastry side. So my friends, I was not even thinking I would be, because I just used to share my skills, share the photos of cakes that I do here and there. So when it was time for choosing the pastry chef, my friends actually chose me as the pastry chef, the head of pastry. So that was really a huge, like all my classmates believed ni mimi tu naweza chukua hiyo ni a head chef for the pastry department. So that also built my confidence. I'm seeing all these people believe in me. They see my work, so pia hapo I led the whole team. So we had to come up with the whole menu for the event and everything. So hapo pia ndo nilianza the leadership skills, and so yeah. So that has been about it. So after school, after the graduation, the event went well. So after graduation, I was fortunate enough to get a job immediately, but it was not in line with, it was a customer service job. So when I was doing I was in school, I was still taking orders. My friends used to order from me. They've been a great support system. So when I got the customer service job, my friends still used to order from me. So ikafika mahali nikaona I'm getting so much orders. And the work that I was doing was not in line really with my pastry career. So I decided to quit my job and fully focus on my business. So that is when now I started fully entrepreneurship. So hot kitchen, basically, it deals with food. So in hotels and restaurant setups, there's a different section ya hot kitchen na ya pastry. So hot kitchen basically deals with food. Pastry deals with cakes, desserts, bread, just all types of pastry. Unga ndio tuko kwa pastry side. Hot kitchen, all about food, mainly food. Yeah. So that's the difference between hot kitchen and pastry. So my heart was ilikuwa kwa pastry kabisa. Niliona hot kitchen iko na watu wao. Pastry, I really enjoy pastry. I love cooking as well, but pastry. I just love dealing with unga, cakes, creating new designs. Yeah, so at first, I was really skeptical. I didn't know vile kutakuwa uko mbele, obviously, because now you're quitting your job, you don't know kama business ita peak ama kama, but I knew I had a few clients, and most of my clients have been by referrals. So vile niliacha kazi, actually I didn't have much equipment. Okay, wacha nirudi nyuma kidogo. So when we were still baking with mom, I moved out. When I started working, I moved out. So when I moved out of my place, obviously I didn't have all the equipment. I actually had nothing, because we were doing everything with mom, because I was working with mom. So she had all the equipment, everything. So vile nilihama kwangu, I didn't have anything. I started from scratch. So I didn't have anything. So I used to give my mom most of the orders. So ikafika mahali, I was like, but I have an oven, the basics, vitu tu kidogo. So I asked, there was a friend who ordered a cake, and she was like, Fanny, kama si unatengeneza, sitachukua your order. And that's the nini that ilifanya nikaanza so from that order ndio nikanunua. I asked, okay, so si utanitumia basi deposit so that I get ingredients and everything. So from that order ndio nikanunua the basics za kuanza, turntable, scraper, like just the basics. Kabisa, I didn't even have baking tins. Nilianza na masufuria. So I started literally with nothing. From that first order ndio sasa nikaanza kununua vitu pole pole. So ndio I got a hand mixer. I had the oven, a hand mixer, and I got a few tins. So that's how I started. So basics zenye you have lazima tu kuwe nazo as a baker. You have to have oven lazima tu kuwe nayo, because keki zinabikiwa tu kwa oven. Huwezi pika keki kwa gas. So you definitely need to have an oven. But there are traditional methods, but siku hizi hatuko. We just need to have an oven. So with the oven, a mixer is not really necessary for starters. We have different methods of mixing. You can even use a blender, you can hand mix, but a mixer just makes work easier and faster. So if you're starting, si lazima hata mixer. If you have a blender, we have different ways of mixing cake, but mixer is one of the things. Mixer, blender, mixer, oven, I think those are the basics. And we have scraper, like two small instruments, maybe for making this cake smooth, like a scraper. That is very important, by the way. Turntable, a turntable it's inasaidia kuzungusha keki. You can just spin it as vile unataka. So when you're smoothing the sides, the turntable is really important. So at that time, I knew I had an oven. What I didn't have a turntable at first. So vile niliambia client anitumie deposit, ilikuwa inaenda kwa ingredients. I started with the scraper, kuna piping bags. Piping bags ni za the decoration. So uto tu vitu tudogo ndio nilikuwa nanunua kwanza, the essentials kama piping bag. You can just do a simple cake, but if you want maybe to write on the cake or to put the various patterns, you need to have a piping bag and nozzles. So vitu kama hizo ndio nilinunua kwanza, just basics, nozzles. Yeah, so hata turntables kwa nayo kwanza. I was putting my board on top of a sufuria. Ndio sasa na spin sufuria tukinini, but that aitoi keki smooth vizuri like compared to when you have a turntable, because sufuria lazima ushinde umeisukuma, but turntable is just spins on it. So when you're smoothing the sides, it becomes easier. So yeah, nilianza tu na basics kabisa, the scraper, the nozzles, yeah. So from there is when I started now taking my personal orders. Hapo ndio sasa nilianza, and this time I was still working. So vile nikipata order, I buy something from it. Nikipata order, na maybe after 2 orders na save, I bought my first hand mixer. After other 2 orders, I add baking tins after other. So that's how I started slowly, pole pole tu. So siku za kwanza nilikuwa tu nimeamua pesa yangu yote yenye napata inarudi kwa ku invest and getting more cake stuff. Yeah, so that's how I started slowly. So this time I was still working. Orders zikaanza kuwa nyingi. So unaweza pata maybe I'm supposed to be at work early in the morning. Maybe my client wanted the cake in the morning. Siwezi achilia my clients because pia it was also a side hustle. Because squeezy economy, obviously you need to have many things on the side. So this was my side hustle then. So unapata maybe I'm supposed to be at work early and I also need to deliver a cake. Ama after work I need to bake a cake. Ama shift imeisha like around 10. Niko na order ya kesho and maybe I'm supposed to get into work in the morning. So naona hii 10 ndio inafika, ndio niangalie penye nilifika kwa nyumba, ndio nianze maybe kutengeneza keki, then I get up early, ndio nianze kudecorate, ni sort delivery, ndio sasa niende job. So it was a bit hectic. So vile nilianza kupata orders nyingi, nikaona I just sat down and if I concentrate on my business, I can be getting more than what I get from my work. So that's when I decided I have enough equipment. For starters, I have enough equipment, so let me just take the risk and fully venture into business. So that's when I started sasa full-time business. That was last year. With my pricing, at first nilikuwa natumia prices za mom because we used to work with mom kitambo. So you still had the prices. So you'd get sometimes maybe client ana complain, oh, your price is too high, your price is a lot of complaints like that. But nikakaa chini, I did my pricing and I came up with something for everyone. So I have cakes from like 500 bob. So kama haufiki per kg this and this amount, we have something else for everyone. Cake stuff are expensive. Cake supplies, steamer, everything is raising by the day. So leo kiuzia mtu maybe keki 1800, kesho mwambie ni 2000. Kuna mwenye ata complain, no, si uliniuzia keki ama sijui ni wapi, I'm getting a cheaper cake. But a home baker and a commercial baker, we cannot see a commercial baker una bake vitu nyingi at once. So obviously itakuwa a bit, but here I'm working on orders. So if I factor in steamer, if I factor in all those things, that is how I come up with my prices. So I came up with packages. So kuna some cheap cakes from like as low as 500 and they are from 2000. Depends with what you want, depends with your budget. You'll always get something. So we have different types of baking processes. We have creaming method. There's some cakes you'll put everything together. There's some you'll bake, for example, our forest cakes, we usually bake everything together. But for our normal cakes like vanilla, orange cakes, we use the creaming method, which you first, as illustrated in the video, we use the creaming method. So where you first put in the chroma and the sugar, you mix it well until fine, and then now you add in your eggs and your flour and the flavor, any flavor of your choice. If you want blueberry, vanilla, passion, so this is where you can add it to your mixture. This is the creaming method. For my sponge cakes and forest cakes, there's a different, well, we put the wet ingredients first and the dry ingredients first. You mix them together, then zinakuja pamoja. So for the sponge cakes, they tend to have more eggs than the normal cakes, because the eggs, first of all you have to whisk the eggs first. That's another method. Apart from mixing everything together, there's another method of mixing the eggs first. So this helps with the texture. It's important because of the texture. So this is what differentiates sponge cakes from the other cakes. Yeah. Actually, the big difference comes in with the texture. Because for the creaming method and the other methods, you'll find that the measurements na ingredients zinaweza kuwa a bit different. Because maybe for a 1 kg vanilla normal cake, I'll use 6 eggs. But for a 1 kg black forest, I'll use about maybe 9 eggs. Eggs ziko mingi because hiyo ndio inaipea texture. So that's the difference. Actually, it's just texture difference ya the cakes. Sponge cakes are, from the name, ziko more spongy than the other one. Because vanilla cake is just unga, mayai na flavor. But maybe a zucchini cake, you have to add the zucchini. For the carrot cake, you have to add the carrot. So yeah, that's also the difference between the cakes. Yeah. So uwezi ambia mtu unamtengenezea carrot. Hakuna hiyo, like they have to see the carrots. As a pastry chef, the most important thing is you need to have your oven, because oven is important because it's easier to regulate the temperatures. You can always use a makaa or anything, but for professionalism and everything, to make sure your cakes zimeiva vizuri, you need an oven so you're able to regulate the temperature well. As a pastry chef, pastry is wide. It's very wide. I just chose to major on cakes only, but I also make bread, cookies, popsicles, yeah, all that. I make all that. Not only cakes, croissants. I can make desserts. I was working, obviously my internship, I was at a hotel where we used to do, there was the bakery part and the penye tunadecoratea desserts and everything. So that's when I got to learn different, because by the shule you're only taught the basics. When I got into the industry, ndio nikaona that it is very wide. Actually, bakery and pastry is very wide, very, very wide. There's so many varieties of desserts and everything. So yeah, I can make desserts as well, cakes, bread, croissants, cookies, all that. Well, as a baker, the one thing that really challenges me up to date is working with fondant. So fondant is the hard cream. See the wedding cakes, the hard cream. But squeezy is by this watu wengi wanapenda. But there are still people who maybe want their cake to look, anataka imoldiwe in a certain way, and lazima ikuwe ni fondant. So up to date, fondant work, you need to be able to mold it well. You see the way you can play with plasticine? So that is the same way you play with the cream of your fondant. Ni ngumu. So that is the biggest challenge I still. So mtu akinipea keki ya fondant, naangalianga hivi kwanza the design. Some designs by there are very, very artistic and they need that. Yeah, so fondant cakes. But kuna wenye wame specialize by there. There are people who only do fondant cakes. There are people who only do cream cakes. Yeah, and then another thing, my clients wanakuanga very, utapewa flavor haujawahi sikia. So mimi nikipata orders kama hizo siwezi kataa. Purple velvet ama blue velvet, some clients just come up with wanakuja na flavors ziko out of this world. But ukipata flavor kama hiyo sasa inakuwa a challenge. So siwezi kataa order. Utaenda you do your research, you find out how this cake is baked. So that is how I'm able to deal with nikipata maybe a hard nini. So nikipata maybe like fondant, there are many of us who, in my family, by the tuko wengi, well, not many of us, a few of us bake. In the baking industry, we also have to keep up with the trends. There are so many things coming up. We have bento cakes and also pairing pairing cakes with flowers. So we've introduced so many things. such as bento cakes. Kuna wenye maybe they don't want a big cake, or they just have a small event, so we've introduced something like the bento cakes, which are just small cakes, enough maybe for around 4 or 5 people. So that is how we keep up. Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, getting new ideas. So that is how we keep up with the trends, because baking, squeezing, many people are in the industry, so you also have to you have to stay in the market. Yeah, so you have to keep introducing new things and introducing packages. Kama Valentine's, we've started pairing cakes with something like flowers. So yeah, so if you want, also I've started partnering with people who sell flowers. So maybe you sell flowers and you would like to pair your flowers with cakes. So I also get such orders. So since I started baking full time, in the near future I'd like to open my own bakery. And yeah, so with time tutoke kwa nyumba, cause pia mixing your home things na za biashara at some point pia inaleta, yeah, maybe kitu imeisha and unatumia blue band yako ya nyumbani. So vitu kama hizo, that's why in the next 5 years, not maybe necessarily 5 years, but in the near future I'd like to open up my own place. Yeah, so baking requires a lot of patience. By the way, patience is key. So for that upcoming baker, baking singumu. Decorating needs a lot of patience, a lot of accuracy. You also need to be creative. So si kila saa unapelekea mtu with the same designs, but thanks to internet and everything, you're able to get maybe inspos. So you have to be creative. So si kila saa utaendea inspos. Maybe sometimes a customer pia anaweza kuja na design yake. Well, so far most of my clients zinakuanga through referrals mostly. So you'll get, kuna watu nilianza kubekia hata since I was in high school. Hiyo time sikuwa nafanya cakes vizuri, nilikuwa tuna but those clients but the quality of the cake imekuwa consistent also. Actually, that's one way I'm able to maintain my clients, having a consistent taste with the cakes. So that's one way I am able to maintain my clients, consistency. You really need to be patient. You need to be a go-getter. There's so much competition in the market. So pia lazima ukuwe umechangamka. Bure vitu zitakupita tu. So you have to be keeping up with trends as well. Yeah, introducing new things to your menu, being consistent.